Ettore Sottsass was born in 1917 to an Austrian mother and Italian father. Although born in Austria, he was undoubtedly Italian. Beginning in 1934, he was trained as an architect at Turin Polytechnic. Being educated at such a time meant that Sottsass's early design experience was strictly shaped by the fascist regime of Mussolini. With followers of rationalism being forced into the political underground and ideas of futurism being rejected under the neo-nationalist notions of Mussolini, Sottsass quickly realized that designers played an important role in society. They did not simply design as a result of culture, but helped design culture itself. This stance on design would be reflected throughout all of Sottsass's work as he created his own culture of design. When Sottsass returned to Italy after his imprisonment in a concentration camp during World War II, he was confronted by a country in ruin. Unable to find work as an architect, Sottsass turned to the fine arts, producing drawings and sculptures, and using fine art to develop his ideas. He moved to Milan in 1946, and in 1948 Sottsass finally found architectural work designing exteriors and interiors for the National Insurance Institute CASA program's low-cost housing. This endeavor was the first clear depiction of things to come for Ettore Sottsass. In the CASA designs, he combined principles of many design ideologies. During the same years in private, Sottsass produced designs for interiors and exteriors, drawing inspiration from both the Bauhaus emphasis on materials and the work of surrealists. In the words of Sottsass, "When I was young, all we ever heard about was functionalism, functionalism, functionalism. It's not enough. Design should also be sensual and exciting." With his work, he began to explore this idea and get away from the strictness of his design education. In 1956, Sottsass took one of the most important trips of his life. He traveled to the United States for the first time and worked in the studio of George Nelson. This trip introduced Sottsass to the wild American culture, focused on sensationalism and pop culture. Unsurprisingly, Sottsass did not reject American design culture and its superficiality, as many of his contemporaries had, but instead embraced this new design approach, adding vibrancy and sensation to his own work. Returning to Italy in 1957, Ettore Sottsass began to work for Olivetti, and in a sense his career as an industrial designer truly began. In collaboration with Olivetti, Sottsass designed many industrial products, most notably the ELEA 9003 computer in 1959 and the Valentine typewriter in 1969. Although Sottsass's work at Olivetti was incredibly functional, the innovative look of the ELEA 9003 and the way in which it transformed the room it was in, and the bright red of the Valentine that made it a fashion accessory, demonstrated his dedication to embracing aesthetic statements through practical design. During his time collaborating with Olivetti, Sottsass also engaged in other activities. After a 1961 trip to India and a forced trip to the United States in 1962 to get treatment for a potentially fatal kidney disease, Sottsass adopted a more spiritual emphasis on design. In India, where there were few objects per household, he observed that instead of objects blending in with the rest of a room, they instead were the statement-making piece of the room. He began to focus on the importance of human-object interactions that he witnessed in India, instead of the perfection of the object itself. During his time collaborating with Olivetti, Sottsass also produced fine art on his own and a line of furniture for Poltronova. The style of design in his line of furniture was a unique combination of the clean, simple function of modernism, the confusion of postmodernism, the vibrant colors of American pop culture, and the presence and importance of objects in Eastern design. This furniture line demonstrated the core of Sottsass's design theory, that design should not be either or. It should not be modernist or postmodernist, nor Western or Eastern. He did not completely accept any one theory of design, but at the same time he refused to reject any one theory. Instead, he drew from everything he saw and experienced. It was this theory of design that set Sottsass apart from his contemporaries, and it was this theory of design that would be the inspiration for one of his most notable achievements, the Memphis Design Group. Started in 1981 by Ettore Sottsass and 7 of his young colleagues, it was instantly a sensation. Sottsass's work, and the work created by Memphis as a whole, challenged common conceptions of materials and design, and challenged common conceptions of categorization, producing high-quality, high-fashion goods with commonplace materials like plastic laminates, and contrasting simple metals with daring colors, Memphis was truly unique in design of the 1980s. Although made possible in part by the anti-establishment artistic movement, Memphis was not entirely anti-establishment, and the intent was to mass-produce the design so that the elite items could be bought by the common person. This ideology of Memphis, and its many contrasts, epitomized Sottsass's legacy. Through Memphis, Sottsass created objects that were both high and low class, functional and aesthetic, statement-making and practical. Through the success of Memphis and all his work, Ettore Sottsass proved that picking a side, when it came to design or life itself, was not only unnecessary, but unwise. He once said, "I don't believe in categories, whether of the mind or professional disciplines." This is perhaps the best way to describe Sottsass, beyond a category. Anyone who attempts to categorize him will surely fail, and fail to do the totality of his work justice. Designing at the center of East and West, modern and postmodern, spiritual and sensational, was Ettore Sottsass.